All right, Todd, thanks a lot. We'll see you again in a bit. And now to breaking news early this morning from the city of Portland.
That's right. Police are investigating a stabbing at a playground. Katie Bavoso has been following the story for us and has an update now from Riverton Park where it happened. Good morning, Katie.
That's right. Good morning, Lee and Sharon. I'm here at Riverton Park, which is a housing authority apartment complex here in Portland. And police tell me that at 2:30 this morning, a large group of people were hanging out here at this playground. And that is when a fight broke out between two individuals. And that you could actually see there's blood still on the ground that police have sanitized. It leads all the way out into the street. That is the blood from one victim who was taken to Maine Medical Center with non-life-threatening injuries shortly after the incident happened. Police are not searching for a suspect at this time. They do believe this was an isolated incident and that the public is not in any danger at this time. The scene is clear now, but about an hour ago there was still police officers with canines on the scene searching for a possible second victim. They were searching for in the woods. They had gotten reports that there was a woman covered in blood who ran off. They didn't find anything matching that description, and they have moved on now. But again, one victim in the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries, and there is no threat to the public at this time. Lee and Sharon.
Katie, thanks for that update.
All right, we'll check some other news this morning. A man who pleaded guilty to raping his 73-year-old neighbor will be sentenced today. Police say Mark Halley broke into the woman's home, this is back in February, beat her, then sexually assaulted her at gunpoint. Halley has pleaded guilty to gross sexual assault and burglary and criminal threatening with a dangerous weapon.
A former town worker accused of stealing hundreds of thousands of dollars is scheduled to be sentenced today. Investigators say Claudia Viles took about $100,000 each year from 2009 to 2014 when she worked as the tax collector in Anson. She's facing 13 counts related to tax fraud.
A man from Livermore Falls is charged with possession of child pornography. Police arrested Christopher Roy yesterday. They got a tip about 2 weeks ago about Roy, they say. They took his computer and took him to jail. Roy did post bail and he's been released. He's scheduled to appear in court on the 9th of November.
A batch of heroin on the streets of Sanford could have an extremely dangerous synthetic drug mixed in. The Sanford Police Department posted a warning to Facebook. It says the heroin may contain a substance known as W18. Officials say it is 100,000 times more potent than morphine, and just a small amount, even so much as a grain of salt, can cause an instant overdose. Police in Sabattus say they have arrested 5 people for a major marijuana growing operation. They say they found 130 marijuana plants, marijuana processing equipment, and dried pot on a property on Lisbon Road. 5 people were arrested, all from Sabattus. The youngest is 18 years old. All 5 have been charged with cultivating marijuana.
Maine is set to receive more than $600,000 from Washington to fight the opioid epidemic. Part of the funding will be used to address a root cause of the epidemic, which is prescription drug misuse. And the money will educate people about the dangers of sharing medications and overprescribing. The other portion of the grant will help collect important information about fatal overdoses in Maine, so officials can have the most up-to-date and accurate information when they deal with the drug epidemic. A woman whose dog was attacked and killed in Winslow says the pit bulls responsible for the attack should be put down.
The owner of the 2 larger dogs told us that she is sorry that the attack happened and that she did everything she could to keep her dogs in her yard. But Sharon Carey, the owner of the dog that was killed, says that doesn't really cut it. The 10-month-old Boston Terrier died of massive injuries, and Carey's hand was mauled while she was trying to protect her dog. She says she was walking her dog on the same route she takes almost every day when the attack happened. She says she isn't blaming the breed of dog, she's blaming the owner for being irresponsible. And Carey says the owner was aware that her dogs could be aggressive, but kept them in a neighborhood filled with children anyway.
You don't live with a dog like that in a neighborhood of children, and she should have known better. That's awful. And my dog died because of it, because of her ignorance.
The 2 dogs that attacked Carey and her dog are now under a 10-day quarantine. Carey again says she would like to see the dogs put down.
Warning about this next story, a bit graphic. Police are looking for the person who hung a cat from a stop sign in Portland. Now, the cat was found on the corner of Washington and Johansen Street. Police say it may have been hit by a car before it was hung on that sign. You can see we blurred out the cat, though. If you have information, you're asked to contact police in Portland.
We have this rather startling video this morning, a surveillance camera that shows a man crashing his truck right into the Union River. He's okay. We want to make that point right away. Ellsworth police say that Charles Stratton was driving when he had some sort of medical emergency. He lost control of the vehicle, went right into the river. As you can see, it doesn't even look like he slowed down at all. He was able to open the door of his vehicle and get his head above water. Two people then jumped in and helped get him out. An officer says besides a few cuts and bruises, he is okay. And a scary moment in Austin, Texas. That person is okay too. He was getting off the bus when a speeding driver rammed right into him. He only has a few bumps and bruises, but boy, is that a graphic reminder that school is back in session and we need to be extra careful.
Wow. Now for a 60-second check at some other national and international headlines. Protesters are being organized around the country after the ex-Stanford swimmer who raped a woman is being released from prison early. One of those protests will actually be here in Maine at Orono at the University of Maine Library. Brock Turner is scheduled to be released this morning. He's 20. He was sentenced in June to just 6 months behind bars for raping an unconscious woman. He faced up to 14 years. He's being let out 3 months early for good behavior. The protest in Orono starts at 10 this morning, and there are many others throughout the country. Crowd at the San Francisco 49ers game last night. They booed quarterback Colin Kaepernick after he knelt during the national anthem. This was in San Diego for the salute to the military game. Now, Kaepernick made headlines for sitting during the anthem in the first 3 preseason games that team played too, and last night he dropped to one knee. He says he's refusing to stand for the anthem because he will not, quote, show pride in a flag for a country that oppresses black people and people of color. And video showing a SpaceX rocket exploding on the launch pad is now going around the internet. Nobody was injured in this explosion. NASA was testing the rocket when that happened. About 20 minutes later, another explosion as well. All right, it's 6:10. Time for a break here.
Yeah, if you get in some grilling trouble this holiday weekend, we have some information that might be handy for you.
All right, we're monitoring Hermine making landfall last night. It's now over Georgia. Looks real impressive on the satellite and radar. Look at that. It's kind of a mesmerizing swirl. So how does it play a role in our weekend weather? I'll let you know coming up next. Stick around.